Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Chaitanya Charitāmrita audio class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanshakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunnyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So welcome everyone. We are discussing Chaitanya Charitāmrita Adi Leela. We are on chapter 14, and in this chapter now Kaviraj Goswami is describing the childhood pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we discussed yesterday, small Nimai, he performed so many wonderful pastimes just like Krishna. As Krishna, he started crawling and creating mischief. And as Krishna, he would even steal, he would even roll in dirt. And just like Krishna ate dirt, Mridu Bhakshan Leela, Lord Nimai, small Nimai, he also ate dirt. But, he wanted to establish a principle through Shachi Devi. And he wanted to destroy this philosophy of Mayavad. So we discussed in detail what is Mayavad philosophy and what is actual Achintya Bhed Tattva given by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srila Prabhupada writes in detail that anybody who hears this Mayavad Bhashya Sunile Hoye Sarvanash. So that's what we discussed. We discussed till 36th verse. Now we'll begin 37th, in which Kaviraj Goswami describes 5 more pastimes of Nimai. And now Kaviraj Goswami is explaining a very, very wonderful, famous pastime in just 1 verse. And Chaitanya Bhagavat describes in detail. Adi Khanda chapter 5 describes in detail this pastime. One time there was a very devoted Brahmana who came to the house of Jagannath Mishra. And Jagannath Mishra, he welcomed him nicely and he requested that please stay at our home and you cook for yourself. And he brought all the ingredients, because generally in earlier times the Brahmanas, they would cook themselves and eat. They would just get the raw materials, the ingredients. So this Brahmana, he was very satisfied and he prepared nice bhoga to be offered to his Gopal. And as he was offering, he chanted the mantra. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. And Nimai, small Nimai, dressed in 4 directions, he came and he ate the offerings. And this Brahmana, he was shocked and surprised. Hi, he started shouting. Oh, this child has spoiled my offering. So all the family members, they came and they were very ashamed and they requested, Jagannath Mishra requested, please cook again. We'll take care of our son. will not allow him to come here again. This Brahmana was saying, maybe, it is Krishna's desire that I don't eat anything cooked today. You just give me fruits, some roots, I'll eat that. I'll be satisfied with that. I don't want all this cooked food. They were requesting, no, 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 please, please, cook once more. So after lots of requests, again, this Brahmana cleaned everything and he cooked all the nice bhoga. Again, he put the bhoga in front of the Lord, and Jagannath Mishra had given all the instructions to Shachi Devi and all the family members, please don't allow Nimai to come. And they were carefully guarding. And then this Brahmana offered prayers, Namo Brahmanye Devaya, O Brahmanye Hitaya Cha, Jagadhitaya Krishnaya. And as he's chanting these mantras, Nimai appears from somewhere again and he starts eating offering. And as he opens his eyes, this Brahmana opens his eyes and then he is shocked. Hi, hi, again he starts shouting. Oh, this child has spoiled my offering again. And immediately all those members came again and they were surprised. How come this child came? We had kept him, in a separate room. How come nobody recognized that he is coming? Again, they started requesting, and this Brahmana was saying, please, I can understand that Lord doesn't want me to eat any cooked food today. I'll be happy and satisfied eating just raw roots and some fruits. Please give me that. They were desperate now. No, 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 no. How can we allow? It is a great offense on our part. They were pleading, they were begging. But still, Brahmana was not, changing his opinion. Then Vishwarup came. And Vishwarup, he requested, oh Brahmana, please once more you cook, just because I am requesting, please cook. And Brahmana, when he saw this beautiful small child Vishwarup, he could not say no. It was actually, late night, practically midnight. And still again he started cooking. And this time Jagannath Mishra had, told that you please keep this child Nimai, locked in a room and don't allow him to come out. And this child was kept inside his house and nobody was, sleeping only, because they were very, very careful that this child should not come out again. And this Brahmana again started cooking late night. Again, he cleaned everything. Third time now he cleaned everything and cooked again. And then he's offering his bhoga to the Lord and Namo Brahmanye Devaya, Go Brahmanye Hitaya. And Nimai appeared from somewhere and he is eating the offering again. Hi, hi. And this child is eaten and spoiled my offering again. And this time nobody came. He was surprised. But how come nobody's coming? So just give me 1 minute. I'm just receiving a call again and again. Hare Krishna. So, sorry. So this Brahmana, he was really now upset with the small Nimai. How come this child has come third time and this time nobody is coming? It seems everybody slept. Nobody is coming also to stop. And then Nimai spoke. That, oh Brahmana, you're calling me to come and eat this offering, and I am coming and you are shouting. You are telling, hi, hi, this child has spoiled my offering. You only called me and that's why I have come. Then this small boy Nimai, he showed his form of Shyamasundar, Bal Gopal. Nimai was transformed into this Bal Gopal form and he was amazed. The small Brahmana, he was really amazed to see this form of Krishna. And he was thinking, that how come this small boy he has transformed into, Krishna. Then he realized, oh, this child is none other than Krishna. And then he offered his obeisances and he offered his prayers. Then Lord spoke that, oh Brahmana, you are my servant, since many lives. And, in Krishna Lila, when I appeared, you were also there. You came and cooked bhoga for me. And that's why you are such a great devotee. I have come to reciprocate with you. And then this Brahmana was in ecstasy, he was falling down unconscious, getting up again. And then Krishna told, please don't reveal this to anyone. And then he realized that this small child is none other than Supreme Lord Krishna. And therefore, he was very happy. And he said that, oh, my Lord, you have shown so much mercy to this fallen soul. Hare Krishna. So, am I audible? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay, so this Brahmana, he was so very happy, and then Krishna, then Nimai, small Nimai, who had become Krishna, again transformed into small child Nimai, and then he was just playing, and he was happy, showing his wonderful form to Krishna, to all these, people, and by that time all the people had come. Jagannath Mishra, Shashi Devi, and all the other devotees, they had come. And then they were thinking, what happened? You cooked third time and this child has again come. Has he spoiled your offering again? So he said, no, 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 I am so very happy he didn't say anything, because Krishna had warned him that please don't reveal this to anyone. So this was one of the stories which Kaviraj Goswami explains. Then there is another story which he explains. At one time, the Lord, as a small child, he was moving in the courtyard, and two thieves, they became attracted to the ornaments which the Lord was wearing. And they wanted to just take away this child, and they wanted to, steal all the ornaments. Wait, just a minute. So these two thieves, they took away small Nimai, and they thought we will take this child away, and then on the way they were giving all the sweets, sandesh, to keep the child engaged. And small Nimai, he had a good ride. They were carrying him on the shoulder. And these thieves, they were thinking that we'll take this child away and then we'll steal all the ornaments. He was wearing all the golden ornaments and everything. But Krishna, small child Nimai, he confused them, and they didn't even realize that they had come again back to the house of Jagannath Mishra. And then they realized, oh my God, we have reached the same place. And then they just silently dropped the child, and then they ran away. In between, all the other family members, Sachi Devi, Jagannath Mishra, they were searching, where is Nimai? And they were very worried. And then they found that, oh, Nimai has come back. So they asked, what happened? Where were you? So Nimai says, oh, I think two men, they took me and they gave me sandesh, and actually I had lost my way. They brought me back to home. So that was another story which Kaviraj Goswami just explains in one line. It's a big story, all these wonderful pastimes. Kaviraj Goswami is such a wonderful personality. He purposely doesn't touch any of the pastimes which are explained by Vrindavan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Bhagavat, just to be loyal. And he is always, throughout Chaitanya Charitāmrita, he says, I am just speaking whatever Vrindavan Das Thakur has not explained. And he tells in his book, Ure Mudha Lokashuna Chaitanya Mangal Chaitanyera Mahimayate Janibe Sakal Vrindavan Das Koila Chaitanya Mangal Tahate Chaitanya Lila Varnila Sakal Nityananda Lila Varnane Hoila Avesh Chaitanyera Shesha Lila Rahila Avashesh. So he's saying, oh fools, which author will tell the readers, yeah, you are fool, you are reading my book. But that is Kaviraj Goswami. He is telling his readers, you fool, please don't read my book, read Chaitanya Mangal. Chaitanya Mangal means Chaitanya Bhagavat. Chaitanyera Mahimayate Janive Sakal. And Vrindavan Das Thakur, he has written all these pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as he started describing Nityananda Prabhu's pastimes, Nityananda Lila Varnane Hoila Avesh, Chaitanyera Shesha Lila Rahila Avashesh. So after describing the Adi Lila pastimes of the Lord in great detail, he started describing the pastimes of Nityananda Prabhu. And then he went into ecstasy because he is devotee of Nityananda Prabhu, Vrindavan Das Thakur. And he went into ecstasy. And he could not complete the remaining pastime, Chaitanyela Shesha Lila Rahila Avashesh. So whatever Vrindavan Das Thakur didn't write, Kaviraj Goswami is writing. And whatever he has written, he doesn't even elaborate on it. Because all these remaining pastimes, they were not elaborated by Vrindavan Das Thakur. And the Brajavasis, the Vrindavanvasis, they wanted to hear the Shesha Lila pastimes. Say Sabal Lila Rashunite Vivaran Vrindavanavasi Bhaktera Utkanchita Man. So all these Brajavasis, they wanted to hear all these pastimes. So therefore, they gave instructions to Kaviraj Goswami. So he is very loyal to the parampara. He is very loyal. He is not doing Maryada Vyatikram by explaining those things again. Oh, he is not thinking Vrindavan Das Thakur explained, but I can explain better. No. That is called as maturity. That is called as realization. Srila Prabhupada writes in first canto, fourth chapter, first verse, purport, fourth verse, purport. What is realization? Realization means not surpassing the previous acharyas and presenting the matter according to time, place, and circumstance. So not thinking that I can do something better than my acharyas. No, we are just presenting the content in a way which a person can relate to. And Kaviraj Goswami is very nicely following. He is never surpassing the acharyas. He is never doing Maryada Vyatikram. So therefore, he is explaining all these pastimes in one line. Then he describes the pastime that one day, Mahaprabhu, as a small child, Nimai, he pretended to be sick. And he wanted to eat some grains. And that day was Ekadashi. Today is Ekadashi. So that day was Ekadashi. And devotees, they don't eat grains. But Mahaprabhu is not an ordinary person. He is a Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada writes, the regular prasadam is offered to Lord Vishnu on Ekadashi. It is not that we are fasting, so Lord should also fast. No. The Lord should never fast. Lord should be given all the wonderful offerings, And therefore, Nityanand, therefore this small child Nimai, he was demanding that, oh, please give me grains. So they were saying that we don't cook grains on Ekadashi. Nimai said, no. There is a personality, Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar. They have prepared a great feast today. And Prabhupada writes, the house of Govardhan Majumdar was 2 miles away. So when Jagannath Mishra, he is like, he can do anything for Nimai. Just like Nanda Maharaj, when Krishna told Nanda Maharaj, you do Govardhan Puja, and he gave all these arguments. Nanda Maharaj was not convinced by the arguments. He just wanted to please Krishna. So small Nimai is saying, I want bhoga which is made at the house of Govardhan Majumdar. Okay, he went. And as they reached, and Jagannath Mishra told that my child has told that you have prepared some special bhoga, special prasad. So they were surprised and astonished. How come this small child knows? And they understood that this child must be having some supernatural mystic powers. Otherwise, how could he understand that we have prepared some special prasad? So that was an offering. That was one of the pastimes. And then Kaviraj Goswami continues that as small Nimai grew, he started playing with all the children, and he went to various houses and he started stealing and eating all these sweets and various other things. Sometimes he would fight with children. All the neighbors and all the children, they complained to Shachi Mata that your child Nimai is stealing. And she would chastise Nimai. Nimai, why are you doing all this? Why are you stealing? Don't you have everything at your home? Why are you beating other children? She would chastise him. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that, who is stealing? How can Krishna steal? Everything is his property only. One time, one person came to Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, why is Krishna dancing with other men's wives? Prabhupada said, question is not why he is dancing. Question is why you are dancing with Krishna's wives. All the property belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. He is Akhila Koti Brahmanda Nayak. How can he, steal? Everything is his only. So therefore, Prabhupada very nicely, whenever a small chance comes, he explains the philosophy. And Prabhupada writes that, all this propensity which we see in the children of today's age or children of this world, it has all come from Krishna. Krishna, he also stole. Sometimes children, they also steal. Sometimes they speak lies. Everything is coming from Krishna. Janmayadyasya. When Krishna appears and he performs some pastimes, he does it so nicely that nobody can understand that he is a Supreme Lord. How come he is a Supreme Lord? How can he be the Supreme Lord? What to speak of anyone else? Even Brahmaji got bewildered. And he wanted to test. Maya Javanika Channam Agyadhokshajam Avyayam Nalakshase Mudadrisha Nato Natya Dharo Yatha. Kunti Maharani is praying, oh my Lord, when you appear in this world, you perform such a wonderful role that people, they get bewildered. You perform your roles very nicely, perfectly. Even Brahmaji gets bewildered. And that's why he tests Krishna and he gets thoroughly bewildered. So Prabhupada writes, because the stealing propensity and fighting propensity is there in Supreme, that's why it is there in this material world also. But there is a difference between the stealing propensity of spiritual world and stealing propensity of people in the material world. What is the difference? Prabhupada writes, in spiritual world, all the propensities are based on friendship and love. There is no enmity. There is no hatred. There is all love and friendship. But in the material world, it is all envy. It is all enmity. In spiritual world, whatever pastime Krishna performs is to increase the love of devotees. In this world, whatever people do, they do it for their own sense gratification. Atmendriya priti vancha tare balikam, Krishnendriya priti ichha dhare premanam. Atmendriya Priti Vancha, to satisfy one's own sense, that is called as lust, which is there in this world. Krishnendriya Priti Ichha Dhare Premna. And when somebody wants to please the senses of Krishna, that is called as prema. So in spiritual world, whatever is happening is to give pleasure to Krishna. Even if somebody is speaking lie, even if somebody is stealing, even if Krishna steals, it is all for the pleasure of devotees. So when Shachi Devi rebuked small child Nimai, why are you stealing? Do you want to have everything at your home? Why are you fighting with other children? And the Lord would become very angry. And he would go in a room and he would break all the pots. And that is a wonderful pastime. And then Sachi Devi should see that he's become very, very angry. He would, start breaking everything. So she would take him on her lap, and she would pacify him. And then Lord would become ashamed, and he would admit his faults. Prabhupada writes, this is a nice description of faults of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is described in detail in Chaitanya Bhagavat Adi Khanda, chapter 3. Very detailed description Vrindavan Das Thakur has given. There it is described, sometimes he would steal milk, yogurt, sometimes he would break the pots and everything. And then when he would find nothing to break, nothing to steal, he would, tease small children. He would put water in the ears of children. Krishna would do all these things. It is said, Govatsapale Shishukaka Paksham Badnantaman Bhojadalayataaksham Uvacha Mata Chibukam Grihtava Govinda Damodar Madhaveti. One time what Krishna did, Krishna was a very mischievous child. One time Krishna, what he was doing, there was a small child sleeping. Not child, he was a little 2-3 years old. He tied Shikha of that sleeping boy, Gopa, to a to a tail of a cow. And as he's doing this, Yashoda, she realizes, she sees, Uvacha Mata Chibukam Grit, and she comes and she's holding the chin of Krishna and saying, Krishna, what is this? Govinda, Damodara, Madhava, what are you doing? So that is what Krishna would do. All the pastimes of Krishna and Mahaprabhu, they are all same. One day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, small child, he chastised his mother and he hit her. And sometimes children, they even hit parents, small children. But Mother this Mother Sachi, she pretended to be, pretended to faint. And this Nimai became very afraid. If she began to cry, and all the ladies, they came and told Nimai, there's only one remedy. You have to bring coconut, and then when the coconut water is given to your mother, then she will get up. So it was not so easy to find coconuts that time in the vicinity. So this small child Nimai, he went out and he brought 2 coconuts immediately. Everybody was surprised. All the ladies were surprised. What is this happening? How come this child has brought these coconuts? So this is how Krishna, small Nimai, he would attract the minds of each and every one. One time, Nimai, he went to the bank of Ganga, and there all the girls of Navadvip, they had come to do Ganga Puja and to offer various articles to Lord Shiva, because they wanted to get nice husbands. And therefore they brought all the paraphernalia, sweets and offerings, various things. And Lord Nimai, a small boy Nimai, he appeared there. And he sat down there among them. And he started telling them, worship me and I shall give you all your desires fulfilled. He says, Ganga and Durga, they are my maid servants. What to speak of them? Lord Shiva is my servant. So he's speaking all these words. Prabhupada clarifies in the purport that just see, he supports, he never leaves a chance to establish the philosophy. Who is Krishna? Ekala Ishvara Krishna Ara Sabhabhritya Je Taiche Na Chaye Se Taiche Kare Nritya. Only one Ishvara, Krishna. All others are servants. Ara Sabhabhritya. So Prabhupada writes that in Hindu culture, in Hindu religion, there is misconception that there are many gods. But there are not many gods. There is only one God. And all the others, they are cosmic administrators, which are called as Devatas or demigods. And Prabhupada criticizes this demigod worship by quoting various verses from Bhagavad Gita. Kamayistairita prapadyante anya devataha tam tam niyamamasthaya prakritaniyata swaya. Those who are less intelligent, their intelligence is stolen by desires. Kamayistairita. Rita means stolen. Their knowledge is stolen by these selfish desires. And they only worship the devatas. They are less intelligent, alpa medhasa, and therefore they worship anya devata. Because all these results which the devatas give, they are very temporary. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavati alpa medhasam. Antavat, it has a beginning and has an end. Those who are alpa medhasa, those who are less intelligent, they only worship devatas to get all these material benedictions. Devotees, they don't worship devatas. And then Prabhupada writes, sometimes we, as members of Krishna consciousness, we are accused of, not allowing the worship of demigods. Prabhupada says, what can we do? How can we approve this when Mahaprabhu himself is telling that don't worship devatas, don't worship Lord Krishna, Shiva, worship me. So Krishna is himself telling, Lord Caitanya is himself telling. Prabhupada writes, how can we allow people to become ritagyana, less intelligent, bereft of intelligence? He says, this is a best thing we are doing, and it is confirmed by Lord Caitanya. Why there is a need to worship devatas? Of course, we are always respectful to them, but our heart is for Krishna. We worship Krishna. And we respect all the devatas, just like a wife. She respects all the family members, but her heart is for her husband. And Nimai, he started chastising these girls. Why are you offering all these bhoga, all these things to devatas? Worship me, offer to me. And he started eating everything. And he would take all the chandan paste and apply on his body. He would take the garlands which were to be put on the deities of the devatas. He would put on himself. He would eat all the sweets and all the offerings. Prabhupada writes, this is the mercy of the Lord. Out of his causeless mercy, he is snatching all these offerings and eating them. And he is, admonishing the girls not to worship devatas, worship him. And these girls, they became very angry. They said, Nimai, you are like our brother. Why are you doing all this to us? Why are you spoiling our offerings? It doesn't fit. It doesn't, behoove you to behave in this way. Please don't take our paraphernalia. Small Nimai said, oh sisters, I give you benediction. That if you give me all these offerings, you will get very good husband who is very wealthy, handsome, intelligent. And Prabhupada writes, and he says, and you will get 7 sons. Prabhupada writes, It is a desire of every girl to marry a person who is wealthy, handsome, intelligent, and the girl, Prabhupada writes, it is a desire of a girl to get at least half a dozen children. And he says nowadays there is a propaganda, and they don't even, they have only one or two children, rest are killed by contraceptives. So Prabhupada writes at least half a dozen in the olden times. That's how the a girl has a desire. So Prabhupada writes a very interesting thing. He says, just see what Nima is saying. If you give me all this, I will give you good husband, wealthy husband, intelligent, and you will get sons also. Prabhupada never leaves a chance to tell that by worshipping Krishna, you get everything. It is not that a devotee of Krishna is a poverty-stricken person. He gets everything. Akama, sarvakamova, mokshakamo udaradhi, tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Anybody who worships Krishna gets everything. Whatever his desires are, whatever his likings are, he gets everything or she gets everything. But what happens in due course of giving all these things to his devotees, Lord purifies the desire of devotees. And therefore, devotee doesn't want anything. Just like Dhruva. Satyam dishatyarthitamarthitodinam naivarthadoyat punararthitam yataha swayam vidhatte bhajatam anichatam ichha pidhanam nijapada pallavam. Bhagavatam describes. It is true that if you go to Krishna and ask for some material things, he will give. But he will give in such a way that you will not ask for the same thing again. How does he do that? He gives himself. And when Krishna enters the life of a devotee, he loses interest in everything else. Krishna pada padma gandha jai jana paye brahma loka adi sukha tare nahi bhai. We are not getting attracted to Krishna. That's why we are getting attracted to the glamour of this world. Still, all these things are attractive to us. Because still we have not tasted that rasa of bhakti. We have not smelled the aroma of the lotus feet of the Lord. Krishna Pada Padma Gandha. Otherwise, Dhruva, just see what he said after taking darshan of the Lord. He said, oh my Lord, I was looking for broken pieces of glass and what I have got is diamond. Sthana vilashi tapasi sthitoham tvam praptavan deva munindra guhyam kacham vichanvan api divyaratnam swamin kritarthosmi varam nayache. Oh my Lord, sthan ki abhilasha se, I wanted a kingdom greater than my great grandfather Brahma. But after having your darshan, I realized that I was looking for a broken pieces of glass. The things and the people of the world, the more we attach ourselves to them, the more we develop relationship with them. It is like developing relationship with catching hold of the broken pieces of glass. The more you grip, strongly catch hold of these broken pieces, the more it will hurt. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, Krishna gives everything. As Mahaprabhu is giving benediction, if you offer me, I'll give you everything. And Prabhupada writes, although Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas at an early age, but he is not telling his devotees to give up the family life and enter sannyas like he has done. It is not recommended always. One can stay as a householder and take shelter of Krishna, but one must be a devotee of Krishna. Then Kaviraj Goswami continues. When Mahaprabhu, small Nimai, he gave benedictions like this, you will get a very wealthy, handsome, intelligent husband and 7 sons. So the girls became very happy inwardly. Externally, they were still showing anger, rebuking. And Prabhupada writes, this type of double dealing is natural for the girls. Although when they are happy internally, they show the anger, and this is very attractive for the boys who want to develop relationship with them. Then some of the girls, they fled away, and then Nimai, he didn't leave them. He says, if you are miserly and if you are not giving me these offerings, then you will get a very ugly husband, a old husband with 4 co-wives. That's how he, curses all these, girls. They became very afraid. They come back and they give everything. And Mahaprabhu becomes very happy, small child Nimai, and he blesses them. He eats all the offerings and blesses them with the full satisfaction. Interestingly, although this is not a very wonderful pastime to be discussed, this is not a glorious thing, but whatever Krishna does becomes glorious. Prabhupada writes about Krishna stealing the clothes of the gopis. And just like these gopis, they had given up everything. They wanted to have Krishna as their husband, and therefore they were ready to give up all their shyness. And it was, although from a material perspective, this is not a very wonderful pastime, but Krishna is glorified for whatever he does. He is glorified as a person who stole the clothes. Gopi Jana Vastrahari, and songs are sung. That's how Lord is all attractive. That's why Shukdev Goswami says, you should never ever find faults in great personalities. Teji Yasham na doshaye. Because they may do some wrong things and they'll get away with that. They'll not get affected. It is like a sun who may evaporate water from filthy place, but sun never gets affected. So all these Navadip Vasis, they came to know this behavior of Nimai, but they were not angry on him. It did not create any misunderstanding. They enjoyed. They were so very happy discussing these pastimes. Then Kaviraj Goswami continues. One day, small Nimai, still a young boy, one day he went to Ganga, and there was a small girl, Lakshmi, the daughter of Vallabhacharya, and she had come to take bath. And when Lord Nimai, Lakshmi Devi, they saw each other, Nimai and Lakshmi Devi. They became spontaneously attracted to each other because Lakshmi Devi was the original supreme goddess of fortune, the original consort of Lord Krishna. So therefore, naturally, they were attracted and the natural love awakened in their heart. And Lord, as a small child, still a very young boy, he told Lakshmi, just worship me, and I am the Supreme Lord. If you worship me, you will get all your desires fulfilled. Prabhupada said, just see, even as a small child, Lord is declaring, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchaha. If one worships the Lord, there is no need to worship anyone else. You should have that faith. Heart is only for Krishna. And Prabhupada quotes a verse from Bhagavad Gita. In the village, there are different wells for different purposes. One well for drinking water, one well for washing clothes, one well for going to daily duties, one well for irrigation. But if somebody can have a river with him, then all the purposes are fulfilled. There is no need to go to any well or different wells. Yavanartha udapane sarvata samplutodake Tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah. Different well serves different purposes. But if somebody can approach a river, all the purposes are fulfilled. Similarly, different devatas, they fulfill different desires. But if you worship Krishna, you will get everything. So therefore, Prabhupada writes that Krishna is telling himself, Nimai is telling that worship me, you will get everything. So Lakshmi Devi, small child, small girl, she is eternal consort. As soon as she heard, she immediately offered all the worship. She offered sandalwood bulb, she offered the garland to small Nimai. And then happily, they smiled at each other. And then Krishna Nimai, he recited a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, where the gopis, after Krishna stole all the clothes of the gopis and they were standing in front of him naked. Then Krishna spoke that, oh gopis, you have a desire, you had a desire to accept me as your husband. I have fulfilled your desires. Because only a lady can stand naked only in front of her husband. All your desires are fulfilled today. So therefore, Krishna tells, small Nimai tells Lakshmi Devi, because you have offered me everything, all your desire will be fulfilled. So that is how Krishna, a small child Nimai, he met his eternal consort Lakshmi Devi. And after expressing their feelings to each other, both of them departed for their homes. And then Kaviraj Goswami writes, who can understand these pastimes of Lord Chaitanya? They are very grave. With one pastime, Krishna fulfills so many purposes. In one pastime, Krishna has given so many instructions to devotees that there is no need to worship anyone else. Only worship me. Unless you surrender completely, you will not be accepted. Sarva dharman parityajya, and we are on a progressive path of surrender. Manas deho geho jo kechu moy arpilo tua pade Nanda Kishore, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, a very tall order. At least we should know what are our ideals. It does not mean that we have to give up everything, as Prabhupada has written. All the big kings, they were devotees. As Kunti Maharani prays, Namo Kinchana Vittaya Nivritta Gunavrittaye Atma Ramaya Shantaya Kaivalya Pataye Namaha. Oh my Lord, you are Akinchana Vittaya, you are the wealth of the impoverished. Does that mean that to become a devotee, we have to become beggars? No. Akinchana means a devotee doesn't have a possessive mentality. He thinks that whatever I have belongs to Krishna. It is under my care now and I have to take care of it nicely. That is a devotee. Then after describing this wonderful pastime of Nimai meeting Lakshmi Devi, Kaviraj Goswami, he describes another pastime. When all these residents of Navadip, they saw this naughty behavior of Lord Chaitanya, they would complain to Jagannath Mishra and Shachi Devi. And when Shachi Devi would go to catch her son, he would run away. He would flee. Just see, he is the maintainer of entire universe and he is running away out of fear of Shachi Devi. Madbhayad vati vatoyam Suryastapati madbhayat Varshati indro dhati agni Mrityuscharati madbhayat. Out of fear, Krishna is saying, Kapila Dev is saying, Madbhaya, out of my fear wind blows, out of my fear sun rises, out of my fear death comes, out of my fear fire burns. And that Supreme Lord from whom fear personified fears is running away of a small fear of a very insignificant, not insignificant, but a simple cowherd lady, simple Brahmani. That is the wonderful pastime of Lord, which bewilders everyone. One time, Lord, who is the maintainer of everything, he went and sat on the pots which were used pots. There was a huge pile of used pots in the earlier times, and you can see today also in Jagannath Puri. The Lord is offered bhoga in new pots every time. Earthen pots are not used again. So whatever is cooked once, the pots are broken, they are thrown away. So and they are considered to be contaminated, because once you have offered something from this pots, then they are considered to be contaminated, impure. Lord went and sat on the pile of these pots. And Shachi Devi, when she saw, she chastised Nimai. Nimai, what are you doing? Why have you touched these untouchable pots? You have become impure. Please go and take bath in Ganga. Now, Lord Chaitanya, small Nimai, he taught his mother a wonderful lesson regarding the absolute nature of Supreme Lord. And she was amazed. And she said, and Nimai said, Mother, why are you telling me to come down? And why are you telling that these pots have become impure? Kaviraj Goswami doesn't explain it. It is given in detail in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Prabhupada writes in the purport, and he quotes from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Amrit Pravaha Bhashya. Nimai is telling, oh my mother, what is this impure and this is pure? This is all worldly sentiment. Everything is coming from Krishna, right? How can you say that anything is impure? Everything comes from Krishna. Krishna is the source of everything. Lord is the source of everything. And you have cooked the food to be offered to Lord Vishnu. So how can these pots become untouchable? Because everything in relationship with Vishnu is the energy of Vishnu. And therefore Vishnu is always eternal. He is uncontaminated. As Ishopanishad also says, Lord is Shuddham and Apapavidham. He is supremely pure and he purifies everything. Prophylactic. Anybody who comes in touch with the Lord becomes purified. So he says, oh, how can these pots be pure or impure? What is this? So he wanted to establish that anything coming from the Lord is supreme, is absolute. But of course, Shachi Devi didn't like this idea. She just rejected all these thoughts and she said, okay, whatever it may be, come down and take bath. So Mahaprabhu was like wonderful, scholar. As we know, when he grew up, he would debate with people. He would defeat their philosophy, and then he would reestablish their philosophy. Again, he would debate and destroy and defeat their philosophy, and he would establish his own philosophy. That is Supreme Lord. He can do anything. So of course, we have to understand that everything comes from Krishna, but still, there are the rules mentioned in the scriptures about what is pure and what is impure. And we should never ever, disobey these scriptures, disobey the rules. We should follow the scriptures, follow the rules mentioned in the scriptures. Then, one time, Shachi Devi, she was taking Nimai on her lap, and she was lying down on her bed, and small Nimai was sleeping beside her, and she started seeing celestial denizens in the room. And she was amazed, surprised, and Shachi Devi one time Shachi Devi told Nimai, you go and call your father. So Nimai, he went to call Jagannath Mishra. And father and mother, they were surprised. Why they were surprised? Because as Nimai was walking, they were hearing ankle bells. But Nimai was not wearing any anklets. So they were surprised. How is this wonderful thing happening? Jagannath Mishra tells Shachi Devi that how is this that this child is not worn any ankle bells, still we can hear these sounds. Shachi Devi said, there are so many wonderful things happening, should I tell you? She says, I am seeing wonderful people in home and they are talking. It seems they're offering prayers to this small boy Nimai. I'm not able to understand what they are speaking. So Jagannath Mishra says, oh, never mind, whatever he is, there is no need to worry. Our Nimai is always protected. And that's all I want. I'm not so much concerned by who he is, why all these Devtas are coming, why all these things are happening. That is called as Vatsalya Bhav. That Nanda Maharaj, just like Nanda and Yashoda, whatever Krishna does, he's our child only. All the Brajvasis, they would come and tell Krishna, Nanda Maharaj, today Krishna has killed a demon. He has done so many things, wonderful things. Like maybe he's God. Nanda Maharaj would say, what type of God he is? He steals lie. He tells lie. What type of God will tell lie? Whenever there is thunderbolt, when there is lightning, Krishna goes and hides in the, pallu of Mother Yashoda. What type of God he is? So that is how Vatsalya Bhav is. Never gets affected by Aishwarya of the Lord. Another occasion, Jagannath Mishra, he was chastising Nimai because he was doing all the mischief. And that night, a Brahmana came in the dream of Jagannath Mishra and said, Jagannath Mishra, you know who is this boy? You are chastising him. Do you know who he is? And Jagannath Mishra says, I don't want to know who is he. I only know one thing. He is my son and I am his father. And I have to correct my child. Whoever he may be, I don't care. He may be a demigod, he may be a yogi, he may be a saintly person, but now he is my son. It is my duty as a father to correct him. And that's how Jagannath Mishra discussed all these things with the Brahmana in the dream. So Jagannath Mishra, when he told all this thing to Shachi Devi, they were surprised. And all the family members, they were surprised and amazed to see so many wonderful things happening. Then the child Nimai grew up a little more. After 3 years to 5 years, it was a time to start education, primary education. And there was a ceremony called Hate Khadi. A chalk is given in the hands of a child and he's made to write some alphabets on a slate that is called as Aksharabhyas, Vidyarambha, beginning of education. And he learned all that very quickly. Just like Krishna, when he was sent to Sandipani Muni's Gurukul, he learned 64 art in 64 days. And one art today, in today's context, it takes years. Engineering, artist, doctor, metallurgy. You can read that in 10th canto. What all arts he learned. One day, one art, perfected. That is Krishna. So Nimai also, he learned all these things very quickly because he is Supreme Lord. After describing all this, Kaviraj Goswami says, that's how I have described the synopsis of the childhood pastimes of Nimai, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vrindavan Das Thakur has explained them in great detail. Please read them. I have just given a summary. Whatever he didn't write, I have written. And being afraid of repetition, I have not elaborated on the subject matter which was explained by Vrindavan Das. And with this, he ends this chapter. by offering his obeisances to Rupa Raghunath. Shri Rupa Raghunath Pade Yar As Caitanya Caritāmrta Kahe Krishna Das. So that is the end of this chapter. We'll also stop here. Thank you very much. Anybody has any questions? Okay, so it seems there are no questions. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai.